All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? So today's segment, what I want to call it is basically confidence, a blessing or a curse. So I teach a program called Mastering Self-Confidence, and it's really to help men find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. And it also incorporates, if you check it out, masteringselfconfidence.com, you can see my website there. Just check out my name, richcelenza.com. A lot of times I don't mention a lot of this stuff on podcasts because I want to do different things, not get caught up in this. But I just left a convention in Denver, and I ran into tons of people, which was really cool. People I knew, some I didn't know, saying, "Hey, Rich, we've been listening to your podcast," or "We've been, checking out your YouTube." All these different things, which I was amazed at, and I really felt, I haven't felt that good in a long time, because a lot of times when you kind of expose yourself the way I'm kind of exposing myself, there's no going back, right? And everything I say or do on a video or on a podcast or anywhere, it's being exposed publicly. You could come back, people could, go to, who the hell knows what can happen, but it's basically me in a nutshell. And I'm not hiding in any way, shape, or form. I know a lot of times friends and other people, colleagues are always going to be a lot nicer regarding your material. And then people behind your back will be like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't like his audio. I don't like the way he talks. I think he's got a bad attitude. Whatever the case may be. But I really had, we had a bunch of dinners with a bunch of people. So it was really a great time. And I was talking to so many different people this time, and they kept coming up to me regarding confidence. And I know a lot of guys have a problem with this, depending on what situation they're in. And that's what I really realized this weekend with being at like a convention. Because a lot of people, I think, that are talkers and, all that stuff, they work really well in a convention situation because they have booths set up. You've probably been to a convention, or you know what it's about. People come up, you got to talk to them, you do some sales, this and that. You kind of schmooze your clients. You're trying to pick up new clients. And that takes confidence. There's no question about that. Right? So having, I think, that type of confidence is really rewarding, because a lot of times you see what you're getting for your hard work and really kind of laying it out there. A lot of people get a bum rap doing sales, but what would this world be without sales just in general? But I get the point where people oversell, and I think this is something out there for all you sales guys. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to do your business. Pay attention when people are talking to you, right? Or you're talking to them. A lot of times they are checking out, but you don't know when to fucking stop. Pay attention. Have the cues, the human cues they're giving to you. You want to talk to somebody and they're really engaged in what you're saying? Wonderful. But you can start paying attention to them, because they start wanting to like walk away from you, shut down, or they want to say something, but you're not allowing them to talk, or you're going on and on and on. I see this especially at dinner parties, get-togethers. I even am a victim of that sometimes. I want to get everything out. And lately, more and more, I'm kind of more just sitting back and listening, because I really want to hear what they have to say. And I think a lot of people are being very honest with me. What's really weird is I'm getting a lot of texts, Facebook Messenger from girls I know, friends that are in relationships or trying to date, saying, "Rich, what the fuck's the problem here with these men?" And vice versa. A lot of dudes saying, "What's wrong with women nowadays?" And it's kind of funny how they each have their own perspectives on how things should be. And the truth is, there are no rules. The rules are only the ones that you've created, right? Your values. They got to match up. But I'm not going to get into that whole pitch today anyways. So I've been getting hit up with that. And a lot of these sales guys that I was, talking to, all different types of people, not just at sales by any means. And I was going back and forth, and some had a lot of confidence in their products and themselves. And others still, I know, that are at that show are still very shy, timid, because a lot of times at a convention, I'll just use for an example, you got the guys in the booths, right? They're a lot of times the ones selling. And then you have people there that are just shopping. And the ones shopping a lot of times, don't get me wrong, they talk as well, but they kind of don't want to be bothered. They want to walk the whole show, kind of only find what they're interested in. They kind of move, and they don't want to get caught up in it. No one could stop at every booth, most likely, at a show, because a lot of shows are only open for X amount of hours. Say 2 one day, maybe before the next or 6, whatever the case may be, for you to sit there and stop at every single booth would be ridiculous and talk. But my point being is you kind of have different dynamics of people there, all different types of people. I even ran into a dude who looked exactly like Tom Cruise. It was unbelievable. I posted on my Facebook. I was blown away. Where the hell did I put my water? So that was pretty crazy. I mean, he's identical. It was whack. So he kept looking at me. I was laughing at him, and he was calling me Jason Statham. I was calling him Cruise, obviously, because he is Tom. I mean, this dude was like a young Tom Cruise. I was blown away. And a lot of people either gravitated towards him and loved him, or were like, wow, this guy's really weird. Like, he looks and acts so much like him. He talks like him and all these different things. Like, is something wrong with him? I'm like, no, that's a shtick, and he makes a lot of money doing this. What are you talking about? Is that bad? Again, from a different person's perspective, that may be weird. But he has the confidence to pull that off. So now let's get to the curse side of confidence a lot of times. And I kind of went through this as well. And I don't think a lot of people realize having sometimes, I'm not even saying too much confidence in the wrong way. Because I see this all the time and it blows me away. And I even seen it growing up a lot where people have the confidence that think no matter what they do, they're going to get away with it, right? You got to be smarter than that. And this goes for people who think they can rob, steal, murder. I mean, you see it on television if you watch TV, the news. I don't care if it's 2020, Dateline, Nightline, the list goes on, regular news, how these people do things. And I'm not talking about people that have mental illness that go up and shoot, churches or terrorism or any of that. I'm talking sneaky people that kind of think, hey, I'm going to hire a hitman to wipe out, my husband or wife. Or I'm going to pull, off a heist locally and see if I could get away with this. Or I'm going to go just a bunch of different things where your confidence level, I really don't understand that to a certain degree. Now, if you're a professional thief and you're good at what you do, that's your thing. Okay, whatever. You were groomed, you were programmed, or whatever, you grew up stealing or whatever the thing is, that's your shtick. You know how to get away with it, but most likely you don't because most people end up in a joint. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Bad Boys when I was younger. Not the new one with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, but the old one with Sean Penn. And it was really good because he goes to the joint. It's for kids, though. It's for younger people, juveniles. And the guy walks out, and he has, hundreds of kids there. And he does your shtick, and then at the end he goes, I want you all to know that if you think you're hip, you're not, because if you were, you wouldn't be here. And I always think about that when getting in trouble. And if you look at it from that perspective, a lot of people think they're badasses, they're tough, they have all the confidence to get away with what they're going to get away with. And it could even be in relationships. All right, I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to get caught. You probably may or may not get caught, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And a lot of times being confident is wonderful. But then when it has that turning point where I think sometimes where people become overly confident and before you know it, it becomes self-destructive. And I don't really get into that too much in my program because I didn't want to be a downer about it. But the truth is, I think a lot of people love drinking. And you just start off like anybody else. I'm going to have a few drinks. I can handle it, mainly weekends. Before you know it, I'm going to have a drink, during the week, just after work, 1 or 2 happy hour. Before you know it, you're a freaking alcoholic. You know what I mean? But you still think you have the confidence to maybe still get your work done, but on the other end, you're still destroying your body. Right? And again, is that good or bad? I mean, that's your choice to do, but I think a lot of us have a lot of issues regarding that, where our confidence level, we may not be confident in everything too, right? So I think that's one thing I should also say is we kind of pick and choose what we're confident in. Some people are really confident in work, very, not confident when it comes to relationships, very confident hypothetically when talking about sports, but not that confident when talking about politics. I'm just using for an example. The guys that think they're great at everything, usually I can't stand because they're shit talkers. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of cultured guys that can talk about a lot of different things. And I'm not saying that. I kind of get tied up in that a little bit. But again, when it comes to confidence too, a lot of people talk a lot of shit. They have the confidence to believe they know what they're talking about, but they really don't. And I don't mean to diss them because, again, I'm not here to argue with people saying, hey, I know way more about this than you, or I know this or that about you. So say I love sports, which I do, but I sure as hell am not going to argue with somebody who's either a coach or somebody who is a diehard fan. Like I have family and relatives. Sure, I love the Chicago Bears. I could talk about the Bears. I can't name all the players like some of my cousins. They know every play. They know where they're going to play. They know where they came from college. They know their stats. They know all that shit, which is great. But my point being is I'm not going to sit there and argue or try to really be confident enough to kind of go to heads up with them or argue with them about certain things that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I see in life a lot of times people, again, have this confidence where they almost believe everything they say and do when a lot of it's bullshit and it's really not helping them at all, especially in relationships, especially when trying to meet if they're single women or even their own relationships if they have a girlfriend or they're married, right? So that's, again, being, I think, overly confident where is it hurting you or helping you? And I really think people got to learn that there is a balance with confidence. And again, I'm not saying, how would I say this? I think when it comes to confidence, you really have to obviously believe in yourself, but you also have to understand your strengths and weaknesses. I talk about that all the time. And you really should concentrate at the beginning a lot on your strengths, right? But also pay attention to your behavior. Most men, I could say, I can't speak for women a lot of times, but a lot of men, either when they're, I want to say when they're sober, especially, they're not that confident a lot of times. And I see this with a lot of my friends, but if they get a couple drinks in them, maybe even get high, maybe do blow, some coke, maybe do other things, that sometimes triggers them where I can tell all of a sudden they're looser, they have more confidence in themselves. Again, where's the balance of confidence? You're confident enough to take drugs to feel a certain way, but you're not, like to meet women, my friends, a lot of them have to drink. Then they feel loose or they go to a bar, they need that feeling, or to do a lot of things, they need a drink, man. I need to calm down. I need to smoke some weed. I need to do this. You're confident enough to almost put yourself in a position, where's that outcome going to go? Is it going to be good or bad? Sometimes you don't realize how bad that is. It'd be more interesting to say, hey, I don't need always, now I'm not against people who drink or smoke weed or do anything. That's not what I'm here to say. But sometimes you really got to look at it and say, is this something that I really need to do? So can I just be confident without having to use, whatever it may be? And that could even be working out. I think a lot of people when working out, they think they have to diet or they have to take these supplements. And if they don't, or I don't drink this much water, or I don't do this many work, or I don't do this type of workout, if I don't work out for this amount of hours per week, I don't do this amount of sets, I don't get the correct time that I always wanted. All these things, again, they're kind of, you're going back and forth in your life because you're kind of being confident enough to say, hey, I'm working out. I want to make a change. But then at the same time, you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't get my shake in today. Or I didn't get enough sleep yesterday. Or I didn't need enough protein today. Whatever the bullshit is, figure it out. But have enough confidence at the end to say no matter what happened along the way, I can still conquer it. Not where you kind of go like 2 steps forward, 1 back, 1 step forward again, 3 back. I call it kind of going sideways. You're not really going any which way, especially with confidence. Because and I think we all go through this. Again, we all are confident in certain areas, and then we all kind of fall maybe short in other areas. Just pay attention. And again, like I said, we want to start off with the strengths, I think, because that's really where you're going to start excelling. And then, again, also work on your weaknesses. Do not get obsessed with your weaknesses. So if you're not really good at randomly talking to women, we don't immediately have to master randomly talking to women. Most men don't like to talk to randoms, especially out of nowhere, because it's almost like you're jumping the woman, and I get it. There's a time and a place to talk to a woman a lot of times. But at the same time, you got to learn how to do that eventually. But maybe you just first start off where you ask friends, family members, and colleagues to introduce you to different people. Have them start a conversation. I wrote a book called Wingman because I'm a pretty good opener. And a lot of guys I realized over the years, they're either really good at the open, or they just could talk to any girl. They don't care if they get rejected. Who gives a shit? Or they're more of a closer. They kind of come in, their friends or somebody opens, and then they come in and kind of really start listening and talking to the woman, and takes their time with that. But I always say it's the gray area. It's the in-between where you're kind of going to win or lose a lot of times, because that's when you're starting, and that goes for women too. She's feeling you out, you're feeling her out. How do you do in the middle? Because saying hi to a woman and complimenting them and saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, what are you doing? Even if you don't know them that well and you strike up a conversation, right. And it's all that in-between stuff, right? If it works in between, you most likely can maybe get a phone number or maybe connect with her on Snapchat. I don't care where it is. And again, I'm not using this as far as something on Tinder or any of that stuff. This is just on a personal level. And what I'm trying to say is, with this whole thing from beginning to middle to end, the confidence you have to almost have it all. You can't just a lot of times be great at the open, okay in the middle, and not be able to close, or not good in an open, so you're always depending on somebody else introducing you. You're pretty good in the middle, but you can't close, but you're always waiting for somebody else again to make that introduction. Again, that's not bad if you're not an opener, but we do want to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are, again, and really master them. Or no matter what situation you're in, and I'm just using this as a relationship, but this could be anything you want to do. If you want to go to college and you're always afraid, you're like, oh my God, I'm just back to not saying it's an open, but you may be the one who's afraid to sign up and you almost need a friend to sign up with you. Then you're great. Then you go to class and you love it, and then you get whatever credits you need. And that could be anything, even like looking for a new job. A lot of people are afraid, I think. I can't say they're afraid. They have no problem online spending a lot of time looking for a new job. They're just afraid of the interview process a lot of times. Or, oh my God, I got to go through all that again, right? But if somebody helps them or somebody kind of pushes them, before you know it, they're doing the job interview process and things are going well for them. Or you might be kind of on the other end where how would I say this? Like, I used to do this when working out. I used to say I was the worst starter and I'm the best finisher, right? And I used to always be like, I'd always go to a gym. And my friend was always dying to get to the gym. He's always like, all day, we're lifting. We eat and we lift it. Everything was like, yeah, of course we're going to lift. Yeah. He never dragged me to the gym, but I was like, we'd get there. And I was kind of the guy, call myself the turtle in the race. I'm warming up, this and that. And he's like the first half an hour, balls to the wall. I'm kind of chilling. But then as time goes on, I'm building momentum, and I'm going, the more I'm in there. And what's funny is I never want to leave the gym when I'm there. He wanted to get in and out, and he was exhausted. Or like after 45 minutes, like, man, let's get out of here. I'm burnt out and this and that. And then as time went on, I had to learn to just enjoy going to the gym and obviously keeping the momentum and leaving the gym, obviously, with a good workout. I didn't need him to drag me to the gym or always have to have him or have to have a workout partner. I was always fine going to the gym by myself, but I really did like having a workout partner to push me. And anyways, we got a little off base there. My mother and people sometimes say, Rich, you go on, and then you get off base there. But my point there, as far as even confidence-wise goes, like I said, good and bad. Try to figure out and use your confidence to benefit your life. And especially if you get angry, because I always tell people this, a lot of guys I know that have confidence, especially if they're overly confident, when things don't go their way or they get angry, they think they have the confidence to get away with doing a lot of things. That could even be fighting, arguments, bullying, all these different types of things. And again, bullying, don't get me wrong, that is a form of confidence. But the truth is, a lot of times, if you run against somebody who is just as confident and a lot tougher, you're going to catch a beating. And I wouldn't recommend bullying to anybody. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. So yeah, good and bad. Just pay attention, please, when you're trying to learn how to build your confidence. There's so many different levels to it, and I don't think people realize that. And you may be thinking, you're nuts, man. There's like people have confidence or they don't. No, it's not that simple. Because I don't care who you are. I will say it again. And I don't care if you believe in everything you do. That doesn't mean you're going to succeed in everything you do. And it also, like, again, your confidence, like, I think I go through this and I see it in my father. A lot of times, I'm not saying we're so confident sometimes in what we're saying and what we're doing, we forget how much we're wrong a lot of the times. And I'll admit when I'm wrong, actually, and I know a lot of people that don't, because again, you're back to the confidence level. And I think some people think they're weaker or they lack confidence when they have to apologize or backpedal or find out different ways to do certain things because they were so confident that this was the only way to do it. And then it's almost like they need it to fail horribly for them to really say, "Oh my God, I'm doing this wrong." So again, just really pay attention to your strengths and weaknesses regarding confidence. All right. I'll leave it at that. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube channel. I'm always going to be posting things regarding fitness, all my favorite locations all over North America, which includes gyms, my Italian restaurants, consignment resale clothing stores, and things in that nature. Obviously, I have the podcast, WTF Are You Talking About? What else? We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So yeah, and again, if you are interested in me helping you regarding anything regarding confidence, check out masteringselfconfidence.com. And I know there's these things I've been noticing too, because I've been working on this for a long time. This type of program and this whole name and all that. And they have these master classes, which I found quite interesting and unbelievable. I think the first one I saw was with Steve Martin. And it's very interesting when you see a master class because really they're masters of what they do. There's no question about that. They have different actors, writers, directors, all different things, not just in the arts. It could be guys that are professional magicians, all these different things. It's amazing. And, when I look at them and I'm like, yeah, they mastered that because they truly had the confidence to be so good that no one ignored them, right? And I think that's what a lot of us have to figure out is who we are, what we want to do, where we want to be, and have the confidence to get there. And tons of shit is constantly coming at us, especially on social media, personally. All these different things are always kind of knocking us off the trail, including ourselves. And a lot of times you're going to have to argue with yourself, because I know I do all the time, and I think a lot of people don't want to admit it, but don't be the victim where you're at a point where you think you're confident in something and then you're not, and then you almost fall into a victim situation. No, that is, I think, one of the worst things you could do. Do not give yourself an out. Even if you fail, even if you don't know what you're doing, find somebody else that does. Have the balls to say, hey, you know what? I only know how to do. I could create a website, but I'm not going to upload. I'm not going to create it online. But I create all my websites, all my programs, all the things I know I can do. I do. All the things I know I can't do, I hire the person that I know can do it. And a lot of times, again, people, I think, let themselves fall short because, again, they don't have the confidence to let people know they can't do everything. Most people cannot do everything. All right, just remember that. You don't need to do everything to succeed. Nobody does everything. If you look at the top CEOs in the companies, I don't care who it is, they have teams behind them, right? And if you have a vision, you can get it done. Again, just believe in yourself and have the confidence to get it accomplished. You could do it. If I could do it, I was a horrible student. I really can't do a lot of things. I can't do nearly as much as most people I know, but for some reason I seem to get a lot more done than I know, more than anyone for the most part doing certain things. So I don't know how that works out. Just for instance, I had to go to New York, say, and then drive to Chicago. Then I had to fly to Florida, then fly to Vancouver. Then I had to fly to Chicago, drive to Denver. I'm on my way back from Denver, and then I'll fly to Florida. That's in a couple weeks. People ask me how I do it at my age. I don't look at it that way. I just know I have to get it accomplished. I don't look at all the bullshit or talk my way in or out of it. You're going to be too tired or any of these things. Don't sell yourself short. You can do a lot of things if you put your mind to it. Kick it in the ass. All right? All right, we'll leave it there. Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.